Now we are going to discuss about the methods of demolition, and which are very important. So basically, if you have to classify this methods of demolition, then first, which is called as non-engineering demolition. So non-engineering में क्या है? Manual demolition होगा. So for the small buildings, manually that hammer and some tools, you are going for demolition. So that is non-engineering demolition. Second is engineering demolition. So systematical way is there, and there are various methods for that. So in which you are having very widely used methods which are called as the mechanical methods. So in the mechanical methods, there's machineries. There is a major role of such mechanical equipments and plants that you have to bring to the particular site. Okay, so there are various mechanical methods which are available. So most common methods which are widely used in practice that we will discuss, that is racking, ball method, this is mechanical method, then pusher arm, these are all different mechanical equipments that we are using. Then thermic lens technique, then non-explosive demolition, then concrete sewing method, pneumatic and hydraulic breaker, then deliberate collapse method, then pressure jetting. So these are all the major mechanical method. Apart from that, you can adopt deconstruction method. जैसे आप construction करते हैं तो जो आप path follow करते हैं उसका reverse path you are following, reverse method you are following in the deconstruction, because we are going for the deconstruction or the demolition of the structure. So opposite to construction, it's the deconstruction method. And the last one, that is called as the implosion. This is by explosives. You have to use these explosives, and whenever you are using such explosives for the demolition of structure, it is called as the implosion technique. Okay, so we will discuss one by one all these methods. So basically there are three methods. Piecemeal demolition means this is manual method. Okay, next is mechanical. All the mechanical means this crane and machineries are used. And explosive demolition. So these are the three widely used methods of demolition. So in which you have to go for the explosives. Okay, at a strategic point you have to put those explosives and you have to demolish the structure. So in the non-engineering demolition, so it is suitable for the small buildings. Okay, and manually everything is done. So this is generally done by local contractors using the manual tools. So there are varieties of tools that are generally used, and these tools are such like jackhammers. So by applying this such pressure, you can have certain demolition. Okay, it's not a complete demolition, but certain part that you can demolish. Drillers, such kind of drillers that can be used. Certain hammers are used, sledgehammer. Then wire cutters you are using. Then welding cutters you are using. Then hand-driven hydraulic jacks you are using. So there are varieties of such tools that are used by men. Okay, and that manually you are demolishing the structure. So for the small building, by such tools you can demolish it. Okay. Next is engineering demolition. So mechanical method that we will discuss. So first method is racking ball method. Okay. So as the name suggests, कि यहाँ पे कुछ ball जैसा है, ठीक है? So here you can say this is the ball. Okay. So basically this is the oldest and widely used method earlier, and nowadays also used. Okay. So it is consisting of a steel ball. So it is consisting of such kind of steel ball, which is anti-spin device, which is suspended by a steel rope. Steel के rope से connected होगा ये, ठीक है? And which is connected with the rope and the weight, and then connected with this crane assembly. And this ball may be having a wide variation of the weight range, 450 to 5,400 kg, and which is generally fitted with the proper fittings and then connected with the crane. Then just what you have to do, whatever building you want to enter using the steel ball, it will hit to that particular structure. Okay, and this is the way how it is responsible for the demolition. Okay, just आपको इसको hit कराना आपका structure के साथ. So if because this weight is too much, and as you are applying to hit on the structure, then it will be responsible for dismantling that particular part of the building. So this method is faster than the manual method. So definitely it's faster than this. And concrete members can be broken into small pieces. But for reinforcement of the RCC structure, so reinforcing whatever that reinforcing that cutting is essential. So that secondary cutting is become an essential after all concrete members that are broken down in the small pieces. So as far as advantages are concerned, they are very useful for demolishing the roofs and other horizontal span जैसे होते हैं. So वहाँ पे normally you can go for this wrecking ball method, and also it is used when it is not possible other methods to use due to some environmental issues or some hazards content of the building, like asbestos or lead in building. So manually you don't want to go there, and far away distance you are just applying the ball, and you are going for the demolition. So these are the advantages. The disadvantage, great skill is required, because this crane operator, उसको ही सब कुछ operate करना है that ball. So that skill of the crane operator is very important. Okay. Also, this height of the building to be demolished is also limited by the size of the your crane size. So up to which height you can operate your crane, and working platform कहाँ तक आ सकता है. However, it is seen that कि 20 stories तक भी अच्छे से demolish कर सकता है this wrecking ball. The process can cause the considerable dust, vibrations, because it is by heating. So lots of dust and lots of vibration, lots of noise that are objectionable, and that can be created while this doing with the wrecking ball method. Also, this secondary cutting of the reinforcement bar, that is also necessary. So it's not a complete method. You need some other method also. Next is pusher arm technique. So basically, this is also particularly equipment which is hydraulically powered pusher arm. Okay, so pusher arm, as the name, the push करने कुछ arm हम use कर रहे हैं, ठीक है? It is mounted on the tracked or wheeled chassis. So this kind of particular machine over which this kind of pusher arm that is connected. Okay, and it involves the progressive demolition. धीरे-धीरे demolish करता है, using the machine which is equipped with the pusher arm attachment for applying horizontal thrust. So it will apply a horizontal thrust to your building, and it will progressively demolish the structure. धीरे-धीरे उसको ऐसे push कर करके. So there are two techniques by which it can demolish the structure: by pushing into the structure, or by pulling out the structure. Either it will push it like this, and then after it will pull out like this. So any technique that can use. Okay. So this method is not recommended for the large building. So very large building, it is not recommended, and it is only good for the small masonry kind of structure. So masonry structure hai, to the pusher arm can effectively work. Okay. So this is pusher arm technique. It's a special equipment, pusher arm, which is attached to your particular crane or machinery. Next is thermic lens technique. So basically, this thermic lens, it is created by packing a seamless mild steel tube. It is consisting of a particular mild steel tube in which you are having the low carbon rods, and you have to pass the oxygen through the tube. Now what will happen when you are doing such thing? So the flame is produced. So this high flame is produced having the supply of pure oxygen with a temperature range of around 2500 degrees centigrade. And at very high degree temperature, the reinforcement that will melt, okay, because it's a very high temperature, and by using this reinforcement can be melt down easily. So this method on one way, it eliminates the vibration and dust, okay, but on the contrary, it has other hazards associated with it, that is called as smoke and fire danger. So this smoke and fire danger, that these are the two disadvantages that is with this thermic lens method. Next is non-explosive slurry demolition. So here the technique consists of the number of holes are to be drilled. So whatever building that you want to demolish, so many number of holes that are to be drilled in the building along the design line of separation. जहाँ आपको पता है कि यहाँ पे करना है आपको, वहाँ पे आपको करना है. Then after you have to fill it with the slurry. So basically slurry में that ingredient that is used is generally calcium oxide, it's a burnt lime, and this burnt lime, it is generally mixed with the Portland cement and other modifiers. So after this slurry, which is filled in the slurry mix कर दिया, then after you have to pour in that, and after a few hours what will happen? This slurry that will expand due to chemical reaction, and that will start cracking. and that will appear on the structure, and which will help in easy demolition of the structure. So by other methods also you can combine this method. Okay, so this can help in easy demolition of the structure, because it will start cracking the whole structure. Okay, and whatever point you have provided this particular holes with the slurry, because they will expand later on. Next is concrete sewing method. So again, this is equipment which is called as the concrete sew. It is, there are other names also which are called as the rod show, or cut off show, or slab show, or the quick cut. So basically it's a power tool which is used for cutting the concrete, and also useful for the masonry, brick, asphalt, or kuch tiles or solid material if you want to cut. So this is very simple way. You have to just take this equipment, and it's a high power supply equipment, and that can demolish the structure in a very easy way. So high power supply, and this concrete members by this particular cutter, you can say, you can cut it in a easy way. So this is called as the concrete sewing method. So sometimes it may be possible that you have to combine different methods, okay, depending upon how much amount of demolition you have carried out with a particular method. The next is pneumatic and hydraulic breaker. Okay, so basically pneumatic and hydraulically breaker, so kaun sa power driven hai, that is the important thing. It's a breaker, means it's a mechanical equipment. So pneumatic means there is a role of air, hydraulic means there is a role of water. So generally this hydraulic and pneumatic breaker, they are used for the demolition of the bridge deck. Bridge ka deck agar remove karna hai, foundation and pavement either you would want to remove. So either it is hydraulically driven, means power of water, or either with the air pressure, and they are generally consisting of a boom mounted, means यहाँ पे आपका hammer होता है attached here at the end, and this is boom mounted, means this is called the boom. So boom, and that is connected with your particular this operator will sit here. Okay, so it is having the telescopic boom. Telescopic boom means you can adjust this length, okay, as per requirement, so you can increase the length. That is why it is called as the telescopic boom, and it will easily reach to a far away distance. So for remote, it is also operated with the remote control operation, and also it can be used for the underwater. So when you are having remote control machine, so that can be taken out from the small window opening also, and inside of the building also you can demolish the floor and walls. So using such hydraulic or pneumatic breakers, you can get a very good effective demolition. But this productivity depends on the hammer size. Whatever hammer which is attached, that is depending upon its size, how much demolition can take place, then type of concrete, and how much reinforcing is there, and working conditions. So accordingly that efficiency or productivity may be different. But the thing is that hydraulically power or pneumatically power breakers that you are using, and with that boom operated breaker. So boom mounted breaker means, boom means this attachment, okay, उसके साथ एक hammer जैसा होता है. Okay, so that is called as the breaker. Deliberate collapse method. So here in the deliberate collapse method, it is here we are removing the key structural elements, and generally with the explosive charges, और by wire rope pulling. Wire से pull कर करके हमारा जो भी important key structural member है, that we try to dismantle. Okay, and if we are pulling with the rope, and high level of overturn, that we are going to try. Okay, but this method is not suitable for the pre-stressed concrete structure. Pre-stressed concrete structure जिसमें already हमने pre-tensioning और या post-tensioning देके रखा है. Okay, so for which this kind of technique will not work. Next is pressure jetting. So basically this particular pressure jetting method consisting of the jet heads. So it's a particular equipment that is consisting of the jet head nozzle जैसा होता है, that is very small. So action of jet is mainly to lose the aggregate. यहाँ से पानी आएगा. Okay, so that will soft the mortar. Okay, so and whatever aggregates that they are present, that will be loosened by washing out, and जो भी आपका mortar है, that at which we are applying water with a very high pressure through this nozzle kind of equipment, and so that will automatically lose your structure. So that is what pressure jetting, okay, with the equipment. Next is deconstruction method. So as I told you, it's just opposite to your construction method. So it is slow and careful process. So you have to remove all the non-structural members. So dismantling door, window, floor, okay, that you can, it's a non-structural member, and then you can remove the structural members. So beam, column, floor, slab, etc. So you have to do in a reverse manner, as all the structural or and non-structural members, they are one by one, they are taking out, you have to take out, and ultimately you have to go for the demolition. Now this technique, which is called as the implosion technique. So basically this demolition of structure with the help of explosives. So whenever we are using explosive, this technique is called as the implosion. So here this is very within a second you can have the demolition of structure, you can say. So basically this एक होता है explosion, एक होता है implosion. So this is not explosion, it is the implosion. So here there is a instance on something which is collapsing violently inward, बाहर जाके नहीं गिर रहा है, वो अंदर गिरेगा, ठीक है? So it will not affect the surrounding. So that is the meaning of implosion. It is a reverse of the explosion. So inward collapsing of whatever structure that we want. Okay. So generally you have to place the explosive material at certain strategic point, and timing of its detonation. मीन्स एक्सप्लोसिव कब फटेगा उसका टाइमिंग आपको सेट करना है, एंड दैट विल बी रिस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर कोलैप्स ऑफ द स्ट्रक्चर इटसेल्फ इन अ मैटर ऑफ सेकंड्स, एंड इट विल मिनिमाइज द फिजिकल डैमेज टू इट्स सराउंडिंग. सो इफ द सराउंडिंग स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द बिल्डिंग इज एट सर्टेन पॉइंट is removed, the building may get damaged. So our main target is all the structural members. So if that structural members, central point, center se normally start karte hain. So if it is damaged, then surrounding will become weak. Okay. So this explosives is used on the key component of the building at different level, starting from bottom to top. बॉटम से स्टार्ट करेंगे, ज्यादा ज्यादा एक्सप्लोसिव लगाएंगे, टॉप में जाते जाते कम हो जाएंगे. सो इफ फ्रॉम द बेस इफ यू आर स्टार्टिंग मींस यू आर मेकिंग इट्स बेस बिग, सो सराउंडिंग विल बिकम ऑटोमेटिकली बिग. Okay, so this whatever that explosion that will take place from lower level to upper level in a step by step manner. So in sequential order that will explode and that will demolish the building. Okay. So here there are varieties of explosives that are used, okay, so which are generally placed at a strategical locations, so that will be responsible for the collapse of the building. So these are nitroglycerin, dynamite or other explosives that are used to shatter the RCC members. Also these RDX based explosives, they can expand at a very high rate of speed. The speed just 8230 meter per second. So such explosives that are used. So basically this detonator, it is nothing but it's a blasting cap. It is a device which is used to trigger the explosives. जैसे आपके पास वो होता है ना, क्या बोलते हैं, बॉम्ब. Okay, तो मेजर एक्सप्लोसिव would be there in that bomb, and the आगे का जो पोर्शन होता है, so that will act as a blasting cap, और जो पतला सा होता है ना उसका पटाखे के साथ. So that is generally which is called as the detonator. So detonator is also explosives, but that will trigger the major mass of explosive later on. Okay, so this blasting cap or electrical detonator, so that are generally collected, and this is the blasting machine. इसको जैसे ही आप लगाओगे, the blast will take place. So this detonator is nothing but it's a plastic blasting cap. It's a device which is used to trigger the explosive devices. जो भी आप explosive use कर रहे हैं, उसको आपको उससे ट्रिगर कराना है with the detonator. So whenever you are using this implosion technique, then there are certain what you can say precautionary measures are to be taken, and these are test blast. First आपको process अगर करना है उसका, so first you have to go for the test blasting. So before actual blasting you have to do the test blast, and which is done in order to check the efficiency of your explosive and detonators. So दोनों आपको चेक करना है, जो भी आपका ट्रिगर हो रहा है एंड जो मेन एक्सप्लोसिव है, both you want to check the efficiency. Next is wrapping off or holes. So जो भी आपके holes हैं that we have done to fix all this. So if some explosion जब explode होगा ये सब, so lots of debris etc that will fly in air. So we don't want that whatever holes that are there, they should be covered with the gunny bags or iron net placement. So जहाँ पे भी आप ये सब place कर रहे हैं, the holes should be covered with the gunny bags and iron net after placement of explosive and detonation. So whenever such explosion takes place, it should not affect the surrounding. जो भी debris है, that should not fly in the air and it should not affect neighboring or the surrounding. Then this ballasting. So ballasting of the charge or explosive work carried out in the controlled manner, such that there will be a time gap of 1/100 second between the two successive blast. दो blast के बीच 1/100 second जितना difference होना चाहिए. एक साथ सब blast नहीं हो जाता, धीरे धीरे. Okay, so this trigger of charge is done in such a controlled manner so that noise pollution and air pollution should be minimum. एक साथ सब explode कर दोगे तो lots of noise and air pollution will be there. So you have to do control manner. Okay, so that is particularly done in a gap. Okay, so that gap is 1/100 second between two successive blasts. Next is falling of structure. So once the central column that is destroyed, then adjoining column will become automatically weak, and ultimately due to its gravity only, the entire mass will come down to its footprint. So the collapse of the structure that will take place. Okay, so this is the way how this process of implosion that would take place. Okay, so this is just the figure that shows that this is the central column on the ground floor. So maximum explosives are placed here, then less number of explosives. So this way you can place the explosives at a strategic locations. Then this figure just shows the columns which are fully loaded with the explosives and hooked up with the particular blasting cap. So column के नीचे ये सब explosive लगा दिए हैं with the blasting caps. Then this how it works. So here you can see this is the first blast. So you can see it's a central column. So this red color, it is here the first blast will take place. So it is from bottom to top. Okay. Then second blast, this surrounding columns. Okay. So first you are just removing this central column, then this surrounding column, and last blast that would take place here. So this is your third blast. So you have to progress further from center to surrounding and from bottom to top, and that strategic locations that are to be properly followed. And this is just the figure which is showing this how this concrete column and steel columns that are just demolished by this implosion method. So as far as the advantages are concerned, it is less expensive, quickest method, इतना सारा ground vibrations नहीं होता है if it is in a controlled manner, and it is suitable for multi-story building or high piers. If it is for any multi-story building, this is the best method. So in at the end, I would just like to say that you have to go for the controlled demolition of building, which is very necessary to ensure the safety of both workers as well as surroundings. Okay, because the safety of workers and the safety of the surrounding is the most important part whenever we are going for the demolition, and it should cause least amount of injuries and accident, because this demolition, that kind of whenever we are doing, it should be done in a controlled manner. Then only you can say that you have done a safe demolition of a structure. So with this, I would like to end the presentation. Thank you.